October 8th, 2016. It's week 6 of the college football season. This is where it starts to get serious. We got some good matchups this week, too. We have LSU versus Florida, Georgia versus South Carolina, and Oklahoma versus Texas in the Red River rivalry. But we're here to talk about, well, none of those games because we're going to Raleigh, North Carolina to watch the Notre Dame Fighting Irish against the NC State Wolfpack. And the reason why I'm talking about this game is that it probably shouldn't have happened in the first place. Welcome to my new series, One of the Games of All Time, where I talk about certain games that are fascinating to me, and I don't want them to get lost in the abyss of thousands of sporting events that we get a year. If you have a game that you want me to talk about, feel free to submit one in the description below. Now, this right here is Matthew. Despite how he looks, there's nowhere that he would rather be. In fact, he traveled across multiple states so that he could show up and watch his favorite team play in the game. Because in college football, it just means more. And how do I know this? Well, because he told us. Oh, there seems to be a misunderstanding here. I'm not talking about this person. I'm talking about the weather. Because Matthew is a hurricane. Now, for those of you that live in hurricane country, then this next segment isn't going to be for you, but I feel like I have to explain this to people that don't know what a hurricane is or have never lived through or near one. Hurricanes are these massive storms that develop in the Atlantic Ocean during hurricane season. Hurricane season stems from around June to November, and there are a lot of different variables into what makes each hurricane stronger or weaker. Now, each hurricane has its own unique path and travel pattern, which means the best you can do is keep tabs on them and hope they don't come your way. Like any other weather forecast, the best that they can do is kind of predict its path and where it's going, but it doesn't always go the way that they think it goes. Now, there's a category system for these hurricanes, which starts at tropical storm, tropical depression, which is the weakest, all the way to a category 5, which is like total devastation, and you shouldn't even be anywhere remotely near the area. Now, hurricanes are different from tornadoes. They don't just show up out of basically nowhere like tornadoes do. They take days to accumulate power and make their way towards landfall. The bad news is that these things are basically windstorms with water, which can lead to flooding, downed power lines, downed trees, the wind blowing away your house and basically messing up your entire way of life. I remember one time I was trying to tell my friends about when a hurricane made a tree fall down and like hit our house and like ripped a hole in our house. And I called my mom about that, and she said, and I quote, "Which hurricane?" Because apparently that had happened multiple times since I lived in North Carolina. And keep in mind, the hurricanes that she's talking about aren't the ones that make like national headlines. Depending on where you live in hurricane country, a hurricane's tracking power and prediction could be the difference between simply going to the grocery store days ahead of time to get all the necessary supplies that you need, except for Dasani. You need all this in case the power goes out, in case the power lines fall down, because that's going to take some time to get the power back. But keep in mind, the gathering of supply stuff, that's for when the hurricane is like usually below a category 3. And a lot of this depends on how your state government acts, but usually if a hurricane is projected to be a category 4 or 5, you will be told to evacuate the city. It's not in your best interest to be there and sit this one out. You should leave if you can. And as you can imagine, not everyone can afford to do that. And that's where you end up with potential situations like Hurricane Katrina, where people were waiting on rooftops for the government to save them, or when Hurricane Harvey messed up Texas. And I'm just talking about America. Hurricanes do extraordinary damage to the Caribbean islands because there's nowhere to go a lot of the time. And that's usually the place where hurricanes hit strongest in that area because there's a lot of water for hurricanes to draw power from. So the closer you are to the beach or ocean when a hurricane hits, you're gonna feel the worst part of it. We're also going to do a quick double tangent here. Hurricanes get named in alphabetical order in the season. So the first hurricane of this season might have been named Albert, but when we get to the next hurricane in the bunch, it will be named after a woman's name. So maybe it goes from Albert to Betsy and then Charlie, and then we keep on going. Now, a name for a tropical storm or whatnot does not guarantee that it's going to turn into a hurricane. It doesn't even guarantee if it's even going to reach landfall or not, but it's more so to just keep track of which one or ones are out there. And I said ones because sometimes you're dealing with more than one out there at once. When a hurricane reaches land, it'll usually get weaker because they have less moisture to draw strength from. So when a hurricane touches down immediately, wherever it first touches down on land, people get the brunt of it. Now, for Hurricane Matthew, the main place that people were projecting was going to go through was Florida as a potential Category 4. Now, Hurricane Matthew peaked at Category 5 before making landfall in Haiti. And it was projected to head near Miami as a Category 4 and then get to the more northern region of the Florida area as a Category 2 or 3. Now, by the time it reached Florida, it was kind of weaker than it had projected. It wasn't a 4, it was a Category 2. But as you saw from the earlier diagram, Category 2 hurricanes are still very dangerous. It was such a threat to those areas that multiple games in those areas for college football were postponed. Popular SEC football games like LSU versus Florida and Georgia versus South Carolina even postponed their games that week. Yes, even SEC schools were like, I know we say it just means more, but not more than this. And they are absolutely right. Now, if you remember the projection that I showed you for Matthew, by the time it approached the North Carolina area, Matthew was projected to downgrade to a Category 1. But a common misconception of the hurricane category scale is since the lower categories are the lower ones, that they still can't mess you up as much. And that's not the case. Even with the crazy rainfall for this game, the wind had the potential to reach up to 45 miles per hour, on top of getting 8 to 10 inches of rain. And keep in mind, there's still a long way from the main part of the hurricane, near the eye, the center of the hurricane. I actually have a good demonstration here. So I'm wearing a Carolina Hurricanes jersey, right? The closer you get to the center of the hurricane, the more dangerous it is, except for the main center, which is called the eye. And that's usually, if you're actually in the eye of the hurricane, everything stops for a little bit. And then you get to the rest of the hurricane and it goes back to dangerous to whatnot. So, but even if you're anywhere in the vicinity, you shouldn't be out playing a football game, I'll tell you that. So once again, I at least have to give props to these schools for taking the serious conditions of a hurricane serious. Now, there might be a part of me that says this multiple times this video, but everyone that was involved in this football game you're about to see should have probably stayed home. Now, this quarterback matchup that we're about to see today will be between NC State's Ryan Finley, who has not thrown an interception all year so far, versus DeShone Kizer, who is coming off of the third most passing yards in a game in school history, and was getting talked about as being a potential high NFL draft pick. Both of these quarterbacks are going to have to spend the entire game throwing a wet ball into unpredictable wind. Now, this is a situation that you could try to prepare for in practice. You could have all the wind machines and the water poured onto the football and players that you want, but this is just something that no one is truly prepared for in my eyes. During the pregame analysis, ESPN credits NC State for having a more balanced offense before the game even starts, and the coverage is eyeing both of these quarterbacks' warm-ups like hawks.
See, as we take a look inside the Notre Dame preparations, they get ready for NC State this week's AT&T Inside Access. You see that?
2 hands on the ball, boys.
Not a good look.
I'd say this is foreshadowing, but everyone here knows that a normal football game is not going to be played under these conditions. DeShone Kizer, up until this point, has been really, really good at throwing the ball downfield this season. That's going to be physically impossible today, and everyone should know this. We also get an interview from Notre Dame's head coach, Brian Kelly, who gives a couple of sentences on what their strategy is going to entail.
you know, you got to keep your cleats in the ground, obviously, translate speed to power, you know, to tackle in these kind of conditions. And then, you know, obviously the kicking game is going to be impacted. So we'll see what the win situation is. You know, they're going to allow us to get 36 balls into the game. It's usually 18.
All right, so you mentioned kicking and tackling in this interview, but not anything about his offense. Interesting.
Ball security is going to be at a premium today in this ball game with those conditions.
I think eventually it's going to cost somebody the game today.
Okay, interesting point from Kirk Herbstreit. Let's move on. We're going to skip ahead to the actual broadcast to see already that this game is about to be absolute chaos. We're experiencing rain so bad right now that even the opening camera shot to the game is beyond saving.
Welcome to rainy and windy Raleigh. The weather getting worse by the minute here at Carter-Finley Stadium as Notre Dame looks to get back to 500 and avoid its worst start in a decade, taking on a North Carolina State team hoping to be a contender in the ACC.
Keep in mind that all of the footage that they shot was gathered before the game, and the play-by-play broadcaster Dave Pasch says it's about to get worse. And shout out to Dave Pasch. He's one of my favorite ESPN broadcasters ever. From college football to college basketball and everything in between, he's a pro at this for real. His color commentator is former Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy, who, and then this is 2016, he's pretty new to the commentary game still, so we'll see what he'll be on today.
Throwing it, catching it, getting it from center, getting it in shotgun becomes so tough in elements like this, Tom.
We then cut to Tom Luginbill out there putting on a sideline reporter masterclass, and I feel kind of bad for him because he's going to be basically swamped all game, and he does a great job of pointing out that everyone's going to have a bad time today.
That holder's got to secure the ball, get it down. The kicker's got to approach it, maintain his footing. The putter's got to take the long snap and be able to secure it and get the ball off.
Tom also talks about the right and wrong way to get on a fumble in these conditions.
You don't want to pounce on it. You want to secure it with a fetal position where you get down in the air like this and we secure the football.
All right, let's see if this is adhered to. And side note, I don't know where you are now, Tom, but I really hope you got a raise off of this. Anyway, it's time to start this game off with Notre Dame receiving a kickoff. After a 5-yard early completion, Notre Dame decides to test out something that everyone that has lived in hurricane country knew is not going to work.
Deep ball, we'll wonder how much we'll see of that, though, today. Kaiser looking downfield, going to air it out, and it is nearly intercepted.
It's a throw so bad that the broadcast crew briefly considered that the receiver ran the wrong route. But no, this is what we're dealing with today. Strap in.
Adams leaving the backfield. Kaiser going to throw it to him out in space and tried to spin away from the defender.
But you see how even a screen pass like that was having trouble and was wobbling in the air? This is going to be a long game. After a punt, it's now NC State's turn to give this a shot with Ryan Finley, who is currently 4th in the FBS in completion percentage. And how does NC State decide to start this game?
A sophomore quarterback. And here's a flea flicker, and it's through the hands of Finley. And then he throws it away.
Okay, so after Greg McElroy said that shotgun snaps were going to be harder, we've now seen Notre Dame and NC State only in shotgun so far. And on top of that, a flea flicker in the rain is crazy. That's crazy work.
Unbelievable, Dave. That was something that I just don't even know why you would attempt something like that with field position being a premium in these conditions, Greg.
Keep in mind, this game just started. Despite this, NC State is able to get a first down, and we're so close to their kicker's field goal range, which is shown by the green line there. Now, this is usually just the kicker's longest made field goal of the season, but it's kind of being deceitful here. Usually, the kicker's longest field goal doesn't happen in conditions like this. NC State seems to have learned from that first play, and they just decide to use their running game for the time being and get to the Notre Dame red zone.
Again, trouble with the snap. And in the backfield was Dalen Hayes.
Oh, never mind. It's 3rd and 13 now. What do you want to do?
Here's 3rd and 13. They fake the jet sweep. Finley rolling out, and the pass is caught.
All conditions considered, this is a pretty good ball, but even still, that was thrown into the danger. All right, NC State is knocking on the door here because rain or shine, this Notre Dame defense has not been good this season. In fact, earlier that year, they had already fired their defensive coordinator after a loss to Duke earlier this season. But even still, they're able to force a third down here.
Two coaches a little bit later for Notre Dame. 3rd down and 6. The rollout for Finley. Looking back. End zone open man. Touchdown.
You know what? What a great play design to scheme that dude open, offensive coordinator. But, oh no. There's a penalty flag. The referee calls for an ineligible receiver down the field, which causes an incomplete 3rd down and 11. And now we have a field goal try. Now, this is a short field goal try. 31 yards is usually just very makeable.
31-yard try. And it's wide to the right.
And that's absolutely brutal to have a touchdown taken away and not come back to the sideline with even 3 points. That's just tough. It feels like the kicker was trying to compensate for the wind on that one, which I can't blame. I can't blame any kicking mistake in a game like this because, again, this game is not supposed to be played. It's not like in Madden where the wind is the same until you kick the ball. This is a hurricane. It's Notre Dame's turn again, but they are 80 yards away from a touchdown here. They get a 1st down, but then they get stopped on 3rd down and decide to punt it away with Tyler Newsome, whose first punt was 43 yards down the field.
I don't know if anybody's celebrating that right now. I think everybody's just happy to be dry. And a bad punt. Off the side of the foot.
NC State finds their way back into the red zone again already, but the drive stalls, and it's time for another field goal. Right? Wrong. NC State lines up like they're about to run a play on 4th and 11, which immediately causes a Notre Dame timeout because... What? During the timeout, NC State talks it over and goes, yeah, you're right. We're tripping. But I do understand the logic here. You're so far away, you already missed a field goal, and it is windy. So, I get it.
A liner that gets over the crossbar and puts the Wolfpack on the board.
Let's look at how happy the field goal unit is after he made that kick. This is what we're dealing with today. Surprise and complete elation when you make that kick in these conditions. Everyone in the arena knows how important every point will be in a game like this. And it's time for Kaiser to get another go at this.
It's a little bit different here with the weather. As that goes over the head of Kaiser, the ball dies at the 10. Kaiser gets it back at the 6.
I can't stress enough just how bad that could have been for Notre Dame if Kaiser doesn't recover this ball. Notre Dame hasn't even crossed midfield today, and NC State would have had the ball inside at the 10-yard line.
Slick ball, shoots forward.
Exactly, right?
And Kaiser's able to...
I can't believe this game is getting played, man. All right, so that effectively kills the drive for Notre Dame, which means that Tyler Newsome, again, has to punt. But this time, he's punting into the wind.
Did a pretty good job. And Newsome, with the help of the wind, absolutely smokes that punt.
You know what? Hell yeah, I'm happy for you, Tyler. It looks like he's going to be getting the hang of it, potentially, today. Now, NC State has a lot of ground to cover, but they do have a great chance to make this a great drive.
That goes off the hands of Finley. He had trouble with the snap, and so Notre Dame's going to get off the field here.
Okay, never mind. Now, Notre Dame will get their best starting position of this game, all thanks to that bomb of a punt from Tyler Newsome. Kaiser hits a couple of passes in a row before Notre Dame gets another first down, and this is the most headway that they've made this game so far.
Defensively, maybe they'll get that attitude that they so need.
The ball's on the ground there, and it's picked up by a North Carolina State player.
Wait. That's a weird fumble. I don't even... What just happened there? Computer, enhance.
The center trying to snap the football. It just rolls right out of his hand.
I don't know that I've ever seen that before, where the center can't even snap it back.
You know what, Dave Pash? You're right. I've never seen that before either. That's one of the wildest fumbles I've ever seen. And after that, after one of the craziest fumbles I've ever seen, NC State now has a chance to take advantage of this wonderful football blessing. Here is the very next play.
Leading 3-0. And on the jet sweep, it's Hines. And he lost the ball at the 23-yard line.
That's right. NC State fumbles on the very next play. This doesn't really happen a lot, but it's certainly explainable in these conditions. Everyone knew coming in that the ball was going to be wet and slippery. Now let's see what Notre Dame does after being gifted the ball right back.
Up to 45 miles per hour. A lob into traffic, and it is incomplete.
Like, you can see what's going on with Kaiser here. Even his simple passes are floating. They're being airmailed. And he's not having a good time. And this is not the ideal spot for passing. Notre Dame somehow turns this drive into a 4th and 15 opportunity, and they get a false start, which should have taken it to 4th and 20. But then future NFL Pro Bowler Bradley Chubb decides to do this.
And he's pointing right in his face. Now,
this gives Notre Dame an automatic first down. Another absolute gift from the football gods here in a game where all of these points are so desperately needed. Despite all that, NC State is still able to sack DeShone Kizer and get it down to a 3rd and goal. All Notre Dame has to do to tie this game is not turn the ball over.
In weather like this, 3rd and goal, Kizer again to pass to the end zone. It's picked off, intercepted by Moorhead.
There's just something so fascinating about how much Notre Dame is trying to throw the ball deep in this weather. And it's just like the ball that DeShone Kizer throws, it knuckles in the wind. It's not even a spiral. And they already talked about in this broadcast that spirals are going to be few and far between. But it's astonishing in this game how many points have already been left on the board. We had that missed field goal. We had a touchdown that got called back. And now Notre Dame, in their best field position of the day, throws the ball away. I don't think anyone wants to win this game. I don't think anyone wants to be here.
the ball just slips out of his hands. I mean, there's just nothing you can do as a passer in these circumstances.
Well, hopefully NC State will be able to capitalize on this
with that tacky strike.
Here's Days through a crease at the 30-yard line. All the way to the 44.
So this is like the first big play of the game here, a 28-yard run. Hopefully NC State will be able to capitalize this. And after they capitalize on a first down, they have 1 minute and 24 seconds and 3 timeouts to put any sort of points on the board. It gets down to a 4th and 5 on Notre Dame's 34-yard line. This is a little bit out of NC State's kicking range, so they basically have no choice but to go for it. This could be a very pivotal play in this game.
Pressure coming for Notre Dame. Finley's pass is dropped. Thaddeus Moss, a true freshman, couldn't pull it in. Would he have been able to get the first down if he caught it?
All right, so after that, Notre Dame materializes nothing, and then we have halftime. But not before an interview with Brian Kelly. Once again, let's see if his tone has changed.
Our defense is playing really well, and now our offense has got to, when we get the opportunity to flip the field position like we did, we got to capitalize and get a score on the board.
And yes, you are reading that right. Notre Dame at the half is currently averaging 1.5 yards per play. That is downright dismal. And the thing about DeShone Kizer is that despite Notre Dame having a 2-3 record through 5 games, he actually hasn't been that bad. As you can see by the actual game logs up until this game, is that Notre Dame has been trusting him to throw the ball more and more. It's just too bad that this is not the game for that at all. This is the first time that Notre Dame has been shut out in the first half since 2012. And that was the national championship game, which is another video for another time. That was 4 seasons ago.
Some leaks there so they can start running the football, at least at the quarterback position.
Yeah, DeShone Kizer was great last year in similar conditions against Clemson in rain. He threw for 321 yards. But
now I know that Mark May pitched that idea because they do kind of need more of a running quarterback right now. But this is a quarterback that at the start of the game was getting NFL draft comparisons. So I think that there's no way that Notre Dame is seriously entertaining this. Anyway, I can't wait to see what the second half of this game has to offer us. Could be anything.
Notice both teams are being held in the locker room. There was lightning about 15 miles away. So they're holding everybody in the locker room right now.
All right, I guess I once again have to say this, but I just don't think that this game should have been played. Like, what? Whew. Now, I will say that usually hurricanes don't have lightning involved in them. That's a rare occurrence. Now, you would think that with all of these weird weather factors and all these rare occurrences that this game is going to get postponed. Do you see how much video is left in this video? So anyway, they announced that there's going to be a 10-minute delay before the second half, and some fans are being told, like, hey, you can go home if you want. But you know that's never worked for college football fans. You don't pay for have a football game. So now these guys have to stay for an extra 10 minutes in the rain, in the wind. And I will say here that the only thing going for these fans is that it's also not cold. It's about 70 degrees. That's the only thing going for them right now.
Red and orange and yellow there, not good.
Ain't good, brother.
No. So there's a storm. You can see where Raleigh is. It could also affect the game later on in Chapel Hill.
And remember how the broadcast kept saying that the weather is going to get worse. There is no end in sight for this. And keep in mind, there's going to be another football game in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, which is about a 20-minute drive from here. They're going to play a football game. Now, I'm not going to cover that game because I couldn't find full game footage of that. But yeah, that was a ranked game, by the way. Those teams were both ranked. Maybe we'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, that was... Yeah. During this delay, ESPN HQ, the booth of Stan Verrett, Mac Brown, and Mark May do a really good job of giving the viewer analysis of this game and states that NC State probably has the upper hand in this game. And the main reason for that is because they're playing at home and they have access to all of their facilities versus Notre Dame, who is the road team, and they basically just have what they brought. I guess it's akin to when you like have a sleepover and you bring a bag and then your friend just has the entire house that they're living in. They have more room for more stuff because it's a big house. Yeah, you guys understand. Why did I even go through this? But I do think that this is really great insight because I did not even think about that going into this game. And as someone that grew up with a parent that worked at NC State, and as someone that took an official visit to run track at NC State potentially, I will say, again, this was back in 2013. This is 15 years ago. Good God. All right, anyway, those facilities are really nice. Like, it's all the Adidas gear that you could ever want. It's beautiful. I know I didn't go there for college, but it's a good campus. And I'm getting sidetracked because, I mean, at least it's only a 10-minute delay, right?
So now they've made the decision it's going to be a full 30-minute delay there at Carter Finley in Raleigh. So we're going to be here for a minute.
Okay. Well, after a 30-minute delay, we now get back down to the field as both teams are coming back. And keep in mind that that delay was only for lightning. It had nothing to do with the other weather that we're seeing. It was just lightning. You know, it's been some time. Let's check back in and see how our sideline reporter is doing.
The hardest rain of the day coming down right now. If you take a look down here at the field, with every step that these guys are taking, this is what they're getting into.
So after all that, we're back. And NC State gets the ball first after half with a chance to extend their lead somehow. NC State starts off by running the ball 3 times, and it seems very clear that they have kind of given up on trying to throw the ball, unless absolutely necessary. Ryan Finley threw 9 pass attempts in the first half, and he only completed 4 of them. Again, not his fault. Game shouldn't even be on the schedule. Whatever.
You're in great shape of field position, and that's how NC State owned the first half, was by winning field position.
And once again, I forgot to mention that NC State's coach, Dave Doran, was like, yo, if we don't turn the ball over, we should be in good shape. Fair.
Griffiths, the long snapper. Ooh, and it was close to the punter's knee being down, and it was. The punter's knee was down, so Notre Dame will take over at the 25-yard line.
I know this is not traditional, but I'm considering this a turnover. I know it's an accident. I know that they were going to punt anyway, but I'm considering this a turnover. The long snap is so bad that the punter has to get on one knee to be able to field it. But that counts as basically just downing yourself on a run. So now Notre Dame, once again, these teams keep gifting each other possessions. And now Notre Dame, once again, has incredible field position. Notre Dame kind of sees what NC State's been doing as well and also has 3 straight runs, and it's to the same success.
3rd and 6, in trouble, and down he goes for a sack.
And now, after all of this time, after multiple possessions with great field position, Justin Yoon is now finally going to attempt his first field goal of the game.
The snap is good, so's the hold, and the kick just creeps over the crossbar to tie the game.
Again, these kicks do not look that good coming off of the foot, but that's how bad this weather is. And look how much they're celebrating after this. They know that the degree of difficulty is crazy here. And to top it all off, this is his season long so far for the season. Now, when we get back from commercial, we do see that North Carolina State has played football games in hurricanes before. And as someone that lived through both iterations of Hurricane Hannah, the 2002 version was more of a tropical storm by the time it got to North Carolina. The 2008 version was a little bit stronger and actually became a hurricane for a little bit before going back to a tropical storm or depression by the time it hit North Carolina. But I want to say just again, this is what the weather looks like when you're just on the outskirts of the hurricane. They're not even like really in the hurricane for real. Keep that in mind. Every time they mention the weather, they've mentioned that it's only getting worse. This entire game, usually with bad weather games, there might be a bit of like, oh, we might be getting out of it. We might have just gone through the worst of the wet. No, we're here the whole time.
Snap and the pass, incomplete, a diving attempt. I'm a little surprised they actually played this game, knowing that it could have been moved. There have been other games that have been moved.
Now, sometimes when you get a bad weather game, there's usually a period where it kind of lets up for a little bit maybe, and you're like, oh man, maybe we're out of this. This game will not have that. There will not be one point in this game where the weather will let up. Nobody wants to be here. The quarterbacks can't throw. The receivers can't even catch well. Actually, they're just doing cardio at this point because they're not getting the ball. Also, like, the receivers aren't wearing gloves. You notice that, like, the skill position players, they're not wearing gloves because the material of the gloves is actually worse for the rain. So what the NC State skill players are doing is that they're using like sports tape instead of gloves. That's where we're at in this game. The kickers are in hell. Dude, there's so much here. I can't believe they played this football game, bro.
And they wouldn't put these kids in harm's way. Matt Day's hit at the point of attack and fumble the ball.
All right, first of all, Greg, I don't really agree with the statement that you just made. And second of all, these guys have no chance of holding on to the football. And to top it all off, the fumble recoveries take extra time because everyone is slipping and sliding. Now, Notre Dame once again has the ball inside the NC State 30 because of NC State's mistakes. Are they able to do anything with it? After 3 plays that go absolutely nowhere, Notre Dame is faced with a 4th and 12 within field goal range. And their kicker, Justin Yoon, just kicked a season-long 40-yard field goal in these conditions. And here Notre Dame is choosing to line up and go for it on 4th down. There's no way that they actually run this play, right? There's no way. There's no fucking way.
Kaiser zips it. Knocked away. Incomplete.
Okay, I will credit Kaiser that that's probably the best looking ball that's happened in the last couple of minutes, but that's an absolutely insane coaching decision by Brian Kelly and the staff. That's insane. Maybe they made a judgment call on the field that the weather had gotten even worse since the last field goal, but at that point, like, dog. After the missed kick, NC State runs one play with Ryan Finley and then subs him out to play Jalen McClendon, the more mobile of the two quarterbacks. From this game, it looks like it's going to be an all-out running fest from here on out, so NC State's going to just give that a go.
McClendon has rushed for 2 touchdowns this year. He takes off on 2nd and 7, has the first down and more. Makes it to the...
And you know what? For your first run of the game, this may work. After another McClendon run, they begin to alternate between McClendon and Finley for this drive, but they're still only running the ball. After converting on a big 4th down, McClendon's still back there.
So McClendon in the game to run the ball. He's past the 40-yard line, has the first down inside the 30.
They're not trying to be slick at all. They know that they really can't pass the ball out here.
Gonna throw it here to Days out of the backfield inside the 20. Lowers the shoulder.
Okay, so they can pass the ball a little bit. It's basically a run. It's just a short pass, but it counts as a pass. You know what I'm saying. After a couple of more runs like these, NC State finds themselves at 3rd and 1 at the Notre Dame 6-yard line. They are in the driver's seat to score 3 points, or dare I even say 6 points.
And it's McClendon getting the first down. Makes it to the 3-yard line.
I personally think we're at the part of this game where a touchdown wins it. And NC State is 3 yards away. Unfortunately, after 2 run plays that just don't work, they find themselves 3rd and goal at the 5. And here comes Ryan Finley back again.
And the pitch goes back to the 17-yard line where it's covered up by Finley.
Yeah, you really can't make any of this up. This is one of the funniest games I've ever seen. Like, there's just so many different, more simple actions that you could try to do to preserve this game, and yet both teams are just not trying to do it. Both offenses, at least. I don't know what the defenses are up to. This video is not really about them, but that's okay. NC State somehow still has a chance to kick a 35-yard field goal. I mean, it was going to be a shorter field goal before this fiasco, but I mean, your kicker made one from 38 earlier this game. I know he missed one, but he made one too. And I think that counts for something. So now here's a chance for Kyle Bombard to put his team back in the lead in a game where points are very crucial.
And the snap is high, and they can't get it down, and Bombard is tackled.
Guys, one of the reasons why I love this game is that there is no way, unless you watched this game back in 2016, there's no way that you're ever going to guess what happens on the very next play. This is the most unpredictable football game. One of the most unpredictable football games I've seen in my life. NC State is credited with a 16-play drive for 51 yards and about 8 minutes of clock, and it ends up with nothing. After seeing the success that NC State had on the ground, Notre Dame now has a chance on offense to make something happen. I guess. I guess, okay?
Oh. Kaiser gonna fire it deep. Almost pulled in.
Despite the rain, despite the weather getting worse, Notre Dame still insists on throwing the ball down the field. Regardless, Notre Dame stalls out and has to punt once again. And this game is somehow still tied. This game is somehow still winnable on both sides.
As McClendon's back out there for North Carolina State and fumbles it.
Yeah, so NC State, again, very lucky to be able to recover this ball because that could potentially have been the game. because we only have one more quarter of play left. And at the end of the third quarter, the Notre Dame offense has 45 total yards in 41 plays. That's the type of stuff that would make you quit an online football game, bro. And yet, somehow, they're still in this game. NC State has had multiple 50-plus yard drives, and Notre Dame still cannot muster 50 yards total. The fact that this game is close is astounding. And lucky for them, NC State has to punt again. Notre Dame, once again, has a chance to burn a lot of clock and take the lead of this game somehow.
And having trouble with the snap is Kaiser, and he goes down, a loss of 4 on the play.
And again, that one's not on Kaiser at all. This one's on the center, who has already had a rough day with one of the weirdest fumbles I've ever seen. Notre Dame is actually playing such a weird style of offense for this weather that the broadcast crew, again, is still very confused.
How come they haven't, I know they're at 2nd and 14, I get it, but how come we haven't seen more handoffs to running backs? Again, only 13 carries for Notre Dame tailbacks in this game.
And on the one hand, I understand the broadcast, but on the other hand, I also understand Notre Dame's side of this. You see, Notre Dame, up until that point, they have -8 rushing yards in the second half. They have 2 rushing yards for the entire game. Now, of course, this is the point of college football where sacks also count as rushing yards. So when you get sacked, that's negative rushing yards. But at the same time, bro, 2? That's it? After another incomplete Deshaun Kaiser throw, Tyler Newsome is yet again called out to punt. This will be his 5th punt of the day, and honestly, he hasn't been doing that bad. He had a bad second punt, but he's kind of been keeping this team in the game by flipping the field position. He has a chance once again to pin NC State.
Excellent snap, and the punt is blocked. It's picked up at the 15-yard line. NC State's going to get a touchdown.
The broadcast has been talking about special teams the entire game. They've been talking about this nonstop. Special teams, kicking, holding, long snapping, but not in this capacity. I don't think that anyone thought that a blocked punt could be the deciding factor in this game. There's also a part of me that thinks that if he didn't return that for a touchdown, NC State probably would have found a way to not score. I'm so serious. This is what we've been on for the last hour and a half. Now, Notre Dame, a team that's been putrid on offense all game long, has to go the length of the field to potentially tie or win the game. With the ball on the 45-yard line, Notre Dame has had better field position today, but I'm sure they're not going to complain about this one. All right, what do you got, Fighting Irish?
At its 45-yard line, the Irish trying to avoid a 2-4 start. Kaiser on the design run, fumble the ball.
Yep, yeah, that's about how I thought this would go. Honestly, after a long deliberation, the referees give NC State the football. And with great field position, NC State has a chance to make this a 2-possession game, which is now like 30 points in regular football. Do they do that? Have you been paying attention to this video?
Scrimmage. McClendon going to throw it to Days out in the flat, makes a cutback move, and is short of the first down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Notre Dame, once again, has a chance. They're at their own 20. But they have a chance, but they need a miracle drive.
Twice. Another run play, trying to find a lane is Adams. Broken tackle at the 40, stiff arming.
Okay, that's one of the more explosive plays that Notre Dame's had all game. I mean, maybe this could change everything. We're going to fast forward to another 4th down, game on the line once again. 5 minutes and 39 seconds left. And with the way that NC State's been chewing this clock, they might not get this ball back.
Kaiser going to pass on 4th down. In trouble. Gets hit, stays in bounds, and picks it up.
This might be the best play Deshaun Kaiser has made all game. Again, Notre Dame here has a chance to get back to 500, to get back to potentially being on pace to potentially make a bowl game. This possession matters so much here. On the subsequent 1st down, Brian Kelly subs in Malik Zaire at quarterback. And it's kind of like what Mark May said at the half because he is a better runner.
Kaiser. They're inside the 40-yard line. And slipping there was Zaire.
After a couple of calls on a first down, Notre Dame is able to get within field goal range. But they don't need a field goal. They need a touchdown. With 3 minutes left, surprisingly very doable.
Blitz here with Mike Stevens. Here he comes. Kaiser throws. Wide open man inside the 20 is St. Brown.
Okay, actually now they do have a first down. They might be actually able to do this. Kaiser's next pass is brutally dropped due to the weather. Totally understandable, but you gotta have that. At this point in the game, I don't blame the passing more because if they do drop the ball, you can stop the clock, but that's about it. Kaiser's next pass is also unfortunately brutally dropped, and I feel like this one's also due to weather. After one more broken play that turns into a run, Notre Dame is faced with a 4th and 8 with the game on the line. Let's just play it.
And Kaiser wasn't ready for the snap. He's got to pick it up. He has to pick it up and throw it. Instead, he's drilled. He gets rid of the pass. It's a forward pass that's...
Yeah, that'll do it. That's about the only way this game is going to be ended if we're going to be for real here. God, what was that? NC State is able to kneel it out. Notre Dame scores the fewest points in the Brian Kelly era, and this game is over. This is one of the most brutal football games that you will probably ever see. And again, this probably should not have happened. These teams combined for 3 for 29 on third down. NC State threw only 14 passes the entire game. Remember Ryan Finley? He had 9 pass attempts at halftime. He only threw 3 in the second half. In this game, Notre Dame had more penalty yards than rushing yards. This game was an absolute dumpster fire from start to finish. After this game, this was the game that people were really starting to consider that Brian Kelly should be fired from Notre Dame. This was one of the games. After the game, he said that this offense could have been tweaked, and even Deshaun Kaiser even said that you can't prepare for this. You don't get this kind of weather in Indiana. Now, here's what I think happened. In 2015, Notre Dame played against Clemson in South Carolina, and they had to play in the remnant of Hurricane Joaquin. The hurricane had devastated the Bahamas before kind of circling back towards Bermuda and heading back into the Atlantic Ocean. I assume that Brian Kelly thought that this hurricane would be like the last year's one, because he even joked in the press conference, if it's like the Clemson game, we're going to throw it every down in the fourth quarter. And I know he said it jokingly, but he actually threw the ball 26 times in a hurricane. A worse hurricane than the one he played against Clemson. Also, crazy thing to joke about, by the way. Notre Dame would finish the season 4-8. Brian Kelly would not get fired. He would actually spend 5 more seasons at Notre Dame. And while the team never had a season like that again, they also never got to where they wanted to because they're one of those schools that were like, we want to win the national championship or else get out of here. So they got him out of here. Deshaun Kaiser would get drafted to the Cleveland Browns, and he would proceed to start 15 games for them. They would win 0 of those 15 games. But that's a story for another day. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you to my Nebula supporters. You help me keep this channel running. I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys have any one of the games of all time that you want me to do, feel free to let me know, and I'll start researching on it. As a longtime content creator, I consider myself a student of the game. I love nerding out and being constantly entertained and inspired by some of the best creators and projects in the space. It doesn't matter the genre. For example, one of my favorite sports creators, Mapify, has a series called Beyond the Bleachers. They break down the correlation between the geography and impact of stadium locations all around the world. Episode 1 compares European football stadiums to American football stadiums. Episode 2 examines the size and age of stadiums between Europe and North America, while Episode 3 explores the diverse cultures that stadiums foster. It's a riveting commentary that answers a lot of questions I had about stadium location choices and how it subliminally affects us as fans. Beyond the Bleachers is a show original to Nebula, the creator-owned streaming service that I am very proud to be a part of. It is the home of incredible content from some of the best creators in the world and is the sponsor of this video. The best way to support me is by signing up for Nebula with my link. There are multiple plans that you can do to help support me. There's the one-time lifetime payment of $300 where you get Nebula forever. But if you want to go year by year, that's more than fine too. With my link, you can get a special discount for the annual plan while supporting me directly in the process. A nice portion of that money will go directly to me as long as you are subscribed. That helps me with the consistency and quantity of the content that you'll get from me. Support me and the many other awesome creators today by signing up for Nebula today. Thanks for watching, y'all.